Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. It's your boy, Mitchell. Sorry. We're back with another video. It's been a while, I know. I'm sorry. Haven't been feeling those commentaries lately. But had a great weekend of racing in Indy. So I decided I'm going to commit to commentating all these videos. And that's great news for you. Or not. But here we go. I'm actually doing the third race first. So this is the Heroes Criterium, Category 3-4. And we're about to get started here. So boom, boom, we start off. Got my only good clip-in of the weekend. And I punch it from the gun because if there's anything I've learned this weekend, it's that 3-4 races start really fast. So I punch it just like everybody else, and I get in position for its first corner. Foreshadow, tall boy on the left, ends up boy on the ground boy later. Alright, so if you don't know, what is the Heroes Crit? It is the third and final race of the Indy race weekend, 3 races in one weekend, and it takes place in a park about 40 minutes from Indianapolis. So you start in the park and then you go around these neighborhood streets, sort of a take on a neighborhood criterium, I guess. The big thing to note about this course is just how narrow all the roads are. This is the widest part of the whole course right here. One of the things you'll see is just really how fun this course is. So we're coming back into the front straight now, so we are just about to finish the first lap. That was T1. Later there was a crash in that corner, but the theme of that corner was just people piling up into it, saying, oh, outside, inside, watch out for me. I'm putting myself where I don't belong. As usual, if you're on the front, you can take all these turns at essentially full speed, and you can pretty much pedal through them. But of course, as you move back, that just doesn't happen. And you get bunched up and bunched up, and as you get further and further back, the field spreads out and they all enter the corner at the same time. So eventually, you might be going through these corners 4, 5 people wide. These are a couple turns before the home straight. It was really fun. You came down the back straight, you can go full speed through that next turn, and you basically just continue the turn, and then you do a quick flip over to the left, a quick flip over to the right, and back on the home straight. And this race was really surprisingly fast, given how tight it was. It was kind of cool, actually, because it was really strung out for a lot of it. A lot of single file racing, full throttle. And this section here was a bit of a headwind, so this is where it would bunch up a lot, for sure. like I said, this is the third race of the weekend, and there were about 40 people who actually came and raced. I think 39 people actually came and raced, compared to 100 on the previous day at the Indy crit. And I could not imagine 100 people on this course. It would be crazy, crazy, crazy. Even 40 people was pretty crazy at times. Man, these turns were so fun. You just fly through them. Look at that lean angle. It's going through this smoke cloud of barbecue. What more could you want? Oh, by the way, I believe this is the first video I've put out with my new and improved camera view. Just kidding. Long story short, my computer mount broke, and so now my GoPro is mounted Velcro on the bottom of the handlebar, along with some duct tape, or actually Gorilla Tape. It's way better. Yeah, so you get to see what I'm shifting, what I'm using for brake. Actually, it gives you a view of whenever I'm sprinting, you can see my head pop out the front. So again, this corner was fun, and there were a couple lines you could take through it. You could either sort of stay to the inside and coast through the corner, or you could cut in on the corner leading into that, so that you would be more towards the outside of the turn, and then again cut in to that turn and actually pedal through it and gain some extra speed if you wanted to move up a position or anything like that. Levi in front of me spinning away. Gives me a nice trickle of water. I really appreciated that. It felt great. I had some... God, okay. That rider just decided to lock up his rear wheel for some reason. Right behind the guy who decided to lock up his rear wheel. So I'm feeling really good about that, you know? Now this guy's trying to butt me out from this guy's track. There's a guy to the right of me trying to butt me out, but joke's on him. So someone went off the front for the first time, and looks like Levi went up there to move the pace up a bit. for this race? Well, it was pretty simple. I was going to try to stay as close to the front as I could without being on the front. No plans to go for a breakaway or anything like that. I was just going to stay close to the front so that I could contend for the sprint. Biggest takeaway from the weekend was that these 3-4 races are faster than the 4-5 races, which sounds obvious, but the difference is important. Because they're faster, the slinky effect is more detrimental to people on the back. The further back you are, the more you have to sprint out of every corner. Man, this is so fun. The more you have to sprint out of every corner just to stay attached to the group. Because if you don't, you'll lose the draft. Now, to some extent, you think, oh, but, you know, you'll coast into the back of the group on the next corner. No. Why? Because while you're doing that, people will come around you so that they can move up. So you're forced to keep digging and digging and digging out of every corner. So in these 3-4 races, it's even more important to be close to the front. Now it's weird when you watch the P1, 2, 3 races. They don't seem to slow down in the corner. There doesn't seem to be as much of a slinky effect. And I think the reason for this is that the pace is even higher and there's more teamwork. So the pace is to such an extent that there's not really a chance for people to coast into the back of the group because it's always driving. You always need to be putting in some power to stay attached to the group. When you're single file, it really is not that hard to just, put in this steady state power and stay attached to the person in front of you. But if you're towards the back and you're getting bunched up in the corners, having to slow down and sprint out of the corners, it gets really hard. And since these 3-4 crits are faster than the 4-5 crits, you have to sprint out of the corner even harder. And that really killed me in the first race of this weekend, the Mass Ave crit, which I have not done commentary for yet. That will be the last one I do commentary on. And there was the crash, tall boy on the ground. I go off. I'm getting back up to speed along the edge. I went from perfect positioning, top 10 placement, didn't have to slow down in any of the corners, blowing right through the corners, staying attached to wheels, to now I'm all the way at the back chasing. So, the best of plans don't always work out. Worst of all, I'm caught behind that guy who, for some reason, couldn't go through that corner. And now I'm blowing by on trying to get reattached to the group as fast as possible. Because I know that I cannot ride as fast as the group goes. The only way I'm going to catch them is if I dig right away. So I'm digging and got the next few feet to close, which is never easy. And going through these corners, you can't necessarily pedal. So digging and digging. Now I've attached to this guy, but he's sort of losing the wheels in front of him. So getting a little bit nervous, but I was pretty sure that we'd run into the back of the group by the corner. So I didn't want to put in extra effort just to get in front of this guy. But man, he slowed down so much in the corner. So now I'm exactly where I don't want to be. I'm on the very back of the group, screeching to a halt into the corner, sprinting out of the corner. Exactly what I tried to set myself up to not be doing. So now begins the really, really hard task of safely moving forward. Yes, people, it's very easy to move forward if you just force people out of your way and cause people to crash. What's harder is to do it safely. Yeah, look at the speed difference. 2 laps ago, going through that corner was over 30 miles an hour. That time it was about 24 miles an hour. So now I have to make up that difference, plus a couple more miles an hour because they're accelerating down that hill onto the front straight. So rather than holding a steady 30 and then accelerating to like 31, I'm holding a steady 24 and having to accelerate to 30. So yeah, it's a big difference being on the back. There's so little time between each straight. Moving forward safely is difficult. Right before that corner, someone told me, "I'm on your outside." And I was like, okay. And I promptly moved over to the left so that he couldn't be on my outside anymore. Because I didn't need him slowing me down. Because I had to stay inside to give him room. So I moved over to force him to get behind me. You don't just get to be on the outside just because you say outside. I can make you move. Whoever's there can make you move. They're in front of you. All they have to do is move towards you, and you have to move out of the way, or you'll crash. Got all wobbly armed, wobbly wheeled. They got too close to the edge, and they got scared. There's a bit of a drop off there, so it's understandable. But, man, it's surprising to see stuff like that in the 3-4 race. And, a little bit more chasing. Not sure why there was so much braking going on in the first place. Digging again, because it didn't seem like that guy wanted to really close in quickly, and I figured that'd be a good moment to get in front of it. what that rider did, the one right in front of me. Rather than trying to go in too wide and making everybody slower, he just moved back to let us go through single file. Much more efficient. But we're still on the back, so we're still having to drill it on every corner. For some reason, I really lost touch there. I think I was starting to not feel very good. There's a guy who just crashed. Saw him in the ambulance later, getting all bandaged up. Big slowdown going into that corner. But we're cruising already. There's not really too many people behind me at this point, so wasn't too worried about coasting into the corner. Myself a nice spot right here. Nice gap left for me.
My front wheel almost got clipped there. I was advancing a little bit, and he let off the gas at the same time. And he just, moved right a little bit, maybe to avoid another wheel in front of him. That would make sense. And I had to turn my handlebars to the right. Not to turn right, just to turn my wheel so that it would avoid his back wheel. Really close call. To some extent, the speedometer is not going to be correct. It's just GPS-based speed, and the Wahoo's GPS capabilities are not as accurate as a Garmin, I'd say. So the speed and location information is not generally as good. I've been thinking about getting a wheel-based speed sensor, but it's just not that valuable for me. Side note, the Cat 13 was officially announced today, and yeah, it looks really ugly in pictures. Really ugly. I don't know why they decided to go with champagne gold for their top of the line color, and there's not even another option. All the colors are so boring. I believe there's one acid red color, which is the same as my bike. But I went on the website and it wouldn't even display the bike in acid red. So basically all I could see was champagne and black. Man, it's so boring. Like, it's obviously going to be a really awesome bike. And it doesn't mean I don't want it. But, man, it's ugly. Going like 5 wide through that corner.
How much time? Alright, so we got 6 minutes left, so that's probably like 4 laps. And I've marked this cat rider, I don't remember his name. What I do remember is him going for a 1-lap flyer at the Hyde Park 3-4 Cat 3 State Championship. So I've marked him as someone that I want to be as close to as possible in case he decides to do that again, because I think this course is really conducive to that, with how your speed through the corner just is so dependent on where your position as far as front to back.
Yeah, coming into the end, it's starting to slow down a little bit.
As we got closer to the end, some people basically went to the front and just got the speed up a little bit, which was really good. Sorry, I don't know what I just said, but as we got even closer to the end, a couple people went to the front and sped it up a little bit, which was really good. You look where you're going on. And I think that was the moment that Levi from Headwood was yelling at someone to start driving the pace a little bit. And he may have even gone to the front to do that. I was hanging out waiting for the attack to go. That guy starts picking it up. Dude on the LA swings in front of me. That's perfect. Love it. And I'm gonna ride this for, man, at least the next lap, maybe 2 laps. But whoever was up there, he was driving the pace really well. So third wheel, 2 to go is not ideal positioning. That's like prime, gonna be swarmed by the people behind you positioning. 3 is where you want to be with 1 to go, maybe. 1 to go with someone really driving it on the front. But this guy's not looking to drive the pace, and I'm certainly not looking to drive the pace. But I don't want someone to be able to just fly out of nowhere, so I'm ready to go. Look who it is. My marked man. He's giving me signs. Giving me signs. Just kidding. think the pace was already too high. So, and you can see he's looking too. He's wondering, what are people behind him looking like? How strong are they looking? What's about to happen? So that doesn't end up happening, and of course what does happen is a bit of swarming. Man. People putting themselves where they shouldn't be. You know? That's what happens in racing sometimes. But a couple of us back here had to heavily hit the brakes and sprint out of that corner. Now listen carefully, you might be able to hear the crash that happens behind me on this corner. No looking back now, but you know, this isn't the ideal position anymore. We're going too fast now for me to move up, and the next few corners are just not conducive for passing. Too tight. And also, I don't trust that guy in front of me because he grabbed his rear brake earlier in the race. So we're coming around the last corner now, basically starting the sprint, but unfortunately I didn't have much sprint to give.